Hello there, VC. Hope you're all doing well. These are all my John Barry scores. Most of them were collected in the 1990s from car boot sales, charity shops, and a couple of more recent acquisitions, kind of like to fill in some of the missing gaps. I haven't got all of them. Some of them I've got on CD, like The Wrong Box, for example. I got on CD. I don't have it on vinyl. But here we go. Let's crack straight on. So we've got the first one up is the Quiller Memorandum. Lovely score. It's got Wednesday's Child on it, which I think was released as a single. Elizabeth Taylor in London, very striking front cover that. Not easy to get hold of that one. He also did a Sophia Loren in Rome, I think. One of my favourite John Barry scores of all time, The Mysterious, The Whisperers. Really good score that. And this sort of more groovy 60s one, The Knack and How to Get It. This is an American issue of the score. The British issue is much harder to get hold of and has a slightly different running order on it as well. The Ipcris File. Now this one didn't come from a car boot sale. I wish it did. But it's very hard to track down a decent copy of this nowadays. But there we go. I got one a while ago now. It's Michael Caine. One of his best sort of spy, sort of thriller soundtracks, scores, sorry. A more recent reissue, Walkabout. It wasn't issued at all, I don't think. Not in this form anyway. And it's a lovely reissue. Great liner notes in this as well. But yeah, really good. One of his most experimental scores as well. Very sort of Morricone in a way, I guess. The lush score to Out of Africa. Often overlooked these sort of big movie scores like this one, but yeah, it's great. This is my dad's copy of String Beat, one of his early LPs. Of course, he recorded as a John Barry 7 to begin with. Did stuff like Hit and Miss. A cheapy comp, but this has got a Doll's House on it, which is really hard to get hold of. Yes, it's well worth picking this up if you see it. Mary Queen of Scots. Score to Follow Me. Another really good score, this one. A charity shop staple, as I've mentioned before. I think I've shown this before. But it's got the Seance on a Wet Afternoon on it. It's really wonderful, this one. It's a great way in for John Barry, very cheaply. Get it for a couple of quid. Used to see this weekly in the 90s. Dances with Wolves, another fantastic score. He won an Oscar for it. Of course, it took Morricone a long time to win an Oscar. On Her Majesty's Secret Service, the only Bond score I'm going to show, but what a score this is. Wonderful one. And it's got We Have All the Time in the World on it, which was used in the most recent Bond movie as well. It's quite emotional hearing that in the cinema. Another great score with a wonderful Christopher Reeve, Somewhere in Time. It's a beautiful score, that one. And all John Barry LPs are much, much cheaper than picking up Morricone ones, but they're just as good. Until September. Another charity shop staple, theme from The Persuaders. Some great stuff on here as well. That's the thing about the John Barry comps, is that they'll always include one or two scores which were hard to find or unreleased. Overplayed by a lot, Born Free, but what a score this is. What a title track as well, the song. Here we go. Another copy of the Quiller Memorandum. Still sealed that. The Dove, an early 70s score. It's a good one. Petulia, not one of his best, but it's in the collection. Another one of my dad's. This is Beat Girl. Of course, this was sampled by Fatboy Slim, I think on the Rockefeller Skank. It's a good score. There's John Barry on the back. My dad's name on it still there. 4 in the Morning. This is on Roulette. Must be an American issue of 4 in the Morning. Midnight Cowboy. Asphalt Cowboy. I think this might be a German issue, actually. Not sure. Don't know. Maybe not. Deadfall, one of my favourite scores. It's got a Romance for guitar and orchestra on it as well. Stunning stuff. Another charity shop staple, but if you look at the running order, there will be things in there that are very hard to find. There we go. The Black Hole. Sampled quite heavily, that LP. The Lion in Winter. And finally, the absolutely beautiful score to Francis. Well worth getting hold of this if you can. It's one of John Barry's finest ever scores, in my opinion. And there we go. That's my John Barry score collection. Hope you enjoy him as well. All the best.